Good to see you back. Encryption and Secrets, KMS, CloudHSM, ACM, Secrets Manager sounds like jargon until you see it in action, so that's exactly what we'll do. A fintech team launched their payments product, passed code review, deployed to production, and then failed their PCI audit because they confused KMS with CloudHSM. They had picked the wrong service for the wrong reason, and the auditor caught it in one scenario. By the end of this video, you'll have the one-sentence rule that prevents that mistake, plus a keyword map for all four encryption and secrets services, KMS, CloudHSM, Secrets Manager, and ACM, so the right answer falls out of the question itself. We've spent the last few episodes building the network security perimeter, shield at the edge, WAF inspecting requests, security groups and network ACLs controlling traffic. But the PCI auditor doesn't care about your perimeter. They want to know what happens to the card number once it's inside your account. Where does it sit on disk? Who can read it? And how is the key protected? That's where the four services in today's episode come in. 5 terms to anchor before we dig in. KMS, the managed key service that creates and controls encryption keys for most Amazon Web Services services. CloudHSM, a dedicated single-tenant hardware security module cluster under your sole custody. Secrets Manager, a managed store for credentials and API keys with automatic rotation built in. Parameter Store, a free systems manager feature for configuration values and secrets without rotation. And Amazon Web Services Certificate Manager, often called ACM, which provisions free public TLS certificates and auto-renews them. CodeGorillas just signed a fintech client subject to PCI-DSS, the payment card security standard. The auditor sits down on day 1 and asks 2 simple questions. Show me encryption at rest. Show me encryption in transit. The team starts brainstorming, and 4 service names hit the whiteboard: KMS, CloudHSM, Secrets Manager, and ACM. Pick the wrong one for the wrong job, and you're not closing the audit, you're writing up a finding for the auditor to read. Here's the lay of the land. KMS handles encryption keys for almost every Amazon Web Services service. It's the default answer. CloudHSM is the dedicated single-tenant alternative for the strictest compliance regimes. Secrets Manager stores and rotates credentials like database passwords, and ACM provisions TLS certificates for HTTPS endpoints. There's a 5th option lurking on the bottom: Parameter Store, which is the free alternative to Secrets Manager when you don't need rotation. We'll take them one at a time. KMS, the Key Management Service, is the workhorse. It's a fully managed service that creates and controls encryption keys, both symmetric for bulk data and asymmetric for signing. The real reason it dominates is integration. S3, EBS, RDS, DynamoDB, Lambda, and most other Amazon Web Services hook directly into KMS, so encrypting data is usually one checkbox and a key reference. Under the hood, it's multi-tenant, meaning many customers share the same fleet of hardware security modules with logical separation between keys. How does KMS encrypt a gigabyte without sending a gigabyte across the network? Through a pattern called envelope encryption. Think of it as a locked briefcase inside a locked shipping container. A small, fast data key encrypts your actual data. That's the briefcase. Then KMS encrypts that data key with its root key, which never leaves the service. That's the shipping container locking the briefcase. The encrypted data key gets stored right next to the encrypted data. When you need to read it back, only the tiny data key crosses the KMS API, not the gigabytes themselves. That's how KMS scales. When people say KMS is integrated with Amazon Web Services, here's what that actually means in practice. On an RDS database, encryption is a single checkbox at creation, with a drop-down to pick which key. On an S3 bucket policy, it's one key ARN in the encryption configuration. On an EBS volume, Same story, pick the key, done. You don't write code, you don't manage hardware, you don't touch the key material. That low-friction experience is the real reason KMS is the default for almost everything. CloudHSM is the strict compliance alternative. Instead of sharing hardware with other customers, you get a dedicated, single-tenant hardware security module cluster all to yourself. The hardware is FIPS 140-3 Level 3 validated, same level as KMS, but here you own the box. Crucially, you have sole custody of the keys. Amazon Web Services engineers cannot see them, cannot export them, cannot recover them if you lose access. You talk to the cluster through industry-standard interfaces like PKCS11 and JCE, which means existing on-prem applications can move to CloudHSM with minimal code changes. Here's the analogy that sticks. KMS is a bank safety deposit box. The bank owns the vault. Many customers have boxes in the same room, and you trust the bank's security. You don't operate any hardware. CloudHSM is buying your own safe and bolting it to your own floor. The hardware is dedicated to you. You are your own landlord, and you operate the cluster. Both protect valuables. The choice is whether you trust the landlord or insist on being your own. Here's Amazon Web Services' own decision rule, paraphrased from the Amazon Web Services security blog. They recommend CloudHSM only when compliance requires a single-tenant HSM under your control, or when you need the PKCS11 or JCE programmatic interfaces. Now here's where people trip up. A lot of teams assume the trigger is FIPS 140-3 Level 3 certification. It isn't. Both KMS and CloudHSM carry that certification. The real trigger is the phrase sole custody. If you have to own the box, that's CloudHSM. If you trust Amazon Web Services to manage it, that's KMS. Here's the keyword mapping. If the question says managed encryption keys, encrypt S3 or EBS or RDS, integrated with Amazon Web Services, or anything that doesn't specify tenancy, that's KMS. If the question says single-tenant, dedicated hardware, sole custody of keys, or customer-controlled HSM, that's CloudHSM. Notice FIPS 140-3 Level 3 is not on either list, because both services share that validation. The discriminator is tenancy and custody, not the FIPS level. Read the question stem for those exact phrases before you even look at the answer choices. So keys protect the data at rest. That half of the problem is solved. But there's a second problem the auditor will ask about. Your application still needs the database password at runtime to actually open a connection. Where does that password live? Hard-coded in the repo? In an environment variable? And when the auditor demands quarterly credential rotation, who's actually rotating it? That question is what the next two services exist to answer. Secrets Manager is the managed store for database credentials, API keys, and other secrets your application needs at runtime. The defining feature, the one thing the exam cares about, is automatic rotation. Amazon Web Services publishes pre-built Lambda functions for RDS, Aurora, Redshift, and DocumentDB, so you wire up a secret, set a rotation schedule, and the database password rotates on its own with zero downtime. Secrets are encrypted with KMS by default. Pricing is 40 cents per secret per month plus a small charge for API calls. Parameter Store is the free cousin, tucked inside Amazon Web Services Systems Manager. The standard tier costs nothing for your first 10,000 parameters. You can store plaintext strings for things like feature flags and host names, or secure string parameters that get encrypted with KMS. The catch is what's missing. No automatic rotation. If you want rotation, you write the Lambda yourself. That's the trade. You save the per secret fee, but you lose the rotation engine. The analogy that locks this in: Secrets Manager is a subscription meal kit. Fresh credentials show up on schedule, Pre-built rotation works out of the box for the major databases, and you pay 40 cents per secret per month. Parameter store is your pantry, free to use, holds whatever you put in it. Secure string gives you KMS encryption, but nothing refreshes on its own. If the exam question mentions automatic rotation, pick Secrets Manager. If it mentions cheapest, free, or configuration values, pick Parameter Store. A real-world warning that also matches the right mental model. Teams default to Secrets Manager for absolutely everything, and then they get a 4-figure monthly bill. 500 secrets at 40 cents each is $2,400 a year, and that's per region. The durable pattern is hybrid, Parameter Store for static configuration, Secrets Manager only where rotation is genuinely required. Match the tool to the requirement, not to the habit. Amazon Web Services Certificate Manager, ACM, makes HTTPS effectively free and effectively permanent. You request a public TLS certificate at no cost, and ACM Auto renews it well before expiry as long as you use DNS validation. The exact window depends on the certificate, 60 days ahead for existing 395-day certificates, and 45 days ahead for the newer 198-day certificates that ACM began issuing on February 18, 2026, under the new CA Browser Forum rules. Either way, ACM handles it. The certificate deploys directly onto integrated services, CloudFront, Application Load Balancer, Network Load Balancer, API Gateway, and Elastic Beanstalk. You never download a cert file, never copy it to a server, never set a calendar reminder for renewal. Think of the DNS validation record as a credit card on file for a magazine subscription. Leave it in place, and the certificate keeps coming. Straight from the ACM user guide, ACM provides managed renewal for Amazon-issued TLS certificates. If you used DNS validation, the certificate renews automatically. If you used email validation, you get notices and you have to act. That's the prerequisite hiding in the word managed. Auto-renewal only happens when DNS validation is in place and the CNAME record stays in your zone. The single most common ACM mistake, by a wide margin, certificates for CloudFront must be requested in US East 1, the North Virginia region, regardless of where your application actually runs. If you provision the cert in any other region, it simply doesn't appear in the CloudFront dropdown. There's no helpful error message, no warning, just an empty list. If you ever see a question pairing ACM with CloudFront and asking about region, the answer is US East 1. Now the auditor's two-part question. Encryption at rest protects data sitting on disk, the lock on the front door of your building. On Amazon Web Services, that's KMS-backed encryption for S3, EBS, and RDS. S3 has been encrypted by default since January 2023, but EBS and RDS are opt-in at creation. Encryption in transit protects data crossing the network, the armored truck moving valuables between buildings. On Amazon Web Services, that's TLS, with certificates typically provisioned through ACM for endpoints like CloudFront, the Application Load Balancer, and API Gateway. Compliance frameworks all require both layers: PCI-DSS for cardholder data, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA, for medical records, and SOC2 for service provider controls. One layer without the other is an obvious audit gap. Straight from the S3 user guide, all Amazon S3 buckets have encryption configured by default, and every new object uploaded is automatically encrypted at rest. That change rolled out in January 2023 at no extra cost. So for S3, the customer side of the responsibility is already satisfied. For EBS and RDS, it isn't. You have to tick the encryption box when you create the volume or the database. Here's why the opt-in matters in the real world. Picture an engineer who shares an RDS snapshot with the wrong account by accident. or makes one public for 5 minutes during a debugging session. If that database was unencrypted, every row of customer data is now readable by whoever grabbed it. If it was encrypted with a KMS key, the snapshot is just a pile of ciphertext, useless without access to the key. That's exactly the gap the auditor is hunting for, and the only thing standing between a clean finding and a breach notification is one checkbox at creation time. Let's stitch it together with CodeGorillas fintech client. First, ACM provisions a free TLS certificate on the application load balancer, giving you HTTPS for in-transit encryption. Second, KMS encrypts the RDS storage holding cardholder data at rest. Third, Secrets Manager stores the database password and rotates it every 30 days using a pre-built Lambda, and only if the client is an issuing bank with the strictest hardware custody requirements do you add CloudHSM for operations on PINs and card numbers. 4 services, 4 jobs, 1 clean audit. Here's your keyword cheat sheet. When the question says single tenant, dedicated hardware, or sole custody of the keys, the answer is CloudHSM. When the question says automatic rotation of credentials, the answer is Secrets Manager. When it says cheapest or free config store, the answer is Parameter Store. When it says free TLS certificate or HTTPS endpoint, the answer is ACM, and anything else encryption related defaults to KMS. Notice FIPS 140-3 level 3 is not a discriminator on its own. Both KMS and CloudHSM carry that validation. Read the stem, find the keyword, map to the service. That's the whole game. Remember the fintech team from the start of this video? Picture them walking into their next PCI audit with these 4 services on the whiteboard, and walking out with a clean finding, because every keyword the auditor used mapped to exactly one service. KMS is the default for encryption at rest, CloudHSM only when the words single tenant, dedicated, or sole custody appear, Secrets Manager when rotation is required, Parameter Store when cost matters, ACM for free TLS certs, in US East 1 if CloudFront is involved. That's the whole game. Read the requirement, find the keyword, match the service. Let's prove you've got it. All right. Question 1. A financial services company must store cryptographic keys on dedicated, single-tenant hardware that they fully control, with FIPS 140-3 level 3 validation. Which Amazon Web Services service should they use? Option A. Amazon Web Services CloudHSM. Option B. Amazon Web Services KMS with a customer-managed key. Option C. Amazon Web Services Secrets Manager with KMS encryption. Or Option D. Amazon Web Services Systems Manager Parameter Store Secure String. Pause here if you want more time. The right call here is A. CloudHSM. The keywords dedicated, single tenant, and FIPS 140-3 level 3 point straight at CloudHSM. KMS is multi-tenant by design, so it can't satisfy a single tenant requirement even with its own FIPS validation. Always read for tenancy keywords first. Question 2. An application uses an RDS PostgreSQL database. The security team requires that the database password be rotated automatically every 30 days with no downtime. Which service should the team use? Option A. Amazon Web Services Systems Manager Parameter Store. Option B. Amazon Web Services Key Management Service. Option C. Amazon Web Services Secrets Manager. Or Option D. Amazon Web Services Certificate Manager. Lock in your answer before I give it away. The right call here is C. Secrets Manager. Automatic rotation of database credentials is its defining feature, and Amazon Web Services ships pre-built Lambda rotation functions for RDS, Aurora, Redshift, and Document DB Parameter Store doesn't rotate on its own. You'd have to build that yourself. Whenever the question says automatic rotation, you're looking at Secrets Manager. Question 3. A company needs a free TLS certificate for an Amazon CloudFront distribution serving their public website. The certificate must auto-renew. In which Amazon Web Services region must the ACM certificate be requested? Option A. The region closest to the majority of end users. Option B. Any region. CloudFront accepts certificates from any region. Option C. Every region where CloudFront has edge locations. Or option D. US East 1, North Virginia. Got your pick? Let's see. It has to be D, US East 1, and here's why. ACM certificates for CloudFront must be requested in North Virginia. A cert created anywhere else simply won't appear in the CloudFront dropdown. No error, no warning, just an empty list. Amazon Web Services documents this explicitly, and it's one of the most common ACM mistakes in the wild. Question 4. A team needs to store roughly 2,000 application configuration values such as feature flags, host names, and non-rotating API keys. They want the cheapest option that still supports KMS encryption for the sensitive values. Which service fits best? Option A. Amazon Web Services Secrets Manager. Option B. Amazon Web Services Systems Manager Parameter Store with Secure String. Option C. Amazon Web Services CloudHSM. Or option D. Amazon Web Services Certificate Manager. Take a moment to think about it. If you said B, well done. Parameter Store Standard tier is free for the first 10,000 parameters, and Secure String gives you KMS encryption for the sensitive ones. Secrets Manager would charge 40 cents per secret per month. That's $800 a month for 2,000 values, and totally overkill since nothing needs rotating. Keyword cheapest plus no rotation requirement equals parameter store. Last one. Let's test a concept from an earlier episode. Under the Amazon Web Services shared responsibility model, who is responsible for enabling encryption at rest on an Amazon EBS volume? Option A. The customer. Encryption must be enabled at volume creation. Option B. Amazon Web Services. All EBS volumes are encrypted by default. Option C. Amazon Web Services, through the underlying hypervisor. Or option D, both equally, as a shared control with no clear owner. Run the decision rule from earlier before you answer. The answer is A. The customer. Going back to episode 7, Amazon Web Services provides the encryption tools, KMS, the integration hooks, the algorithms, but the customer has to turn encryption on. EBS volumes are not encrypted by default. You have to opt in at creation time. This is different from S3, which has been encrypted by default since January 2023. Same model, different defaults per service. That finishes encryption and secrets, KMS, CloudHSM, ACM, Secrets Manager. The Amazon Web Services. The Amazon Web Services Certified Cloud Practitioner Exam Mastery playlist has the full journey in order if you're just joining. Catch you in the next lesson.